Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing good. I hope you are doing good. Thank you for coming, and I'm glad. You're back. So, speaking of being back, I am back from vacation, and it's good to be back. And I went to a nice cottage out in the woods off the town. It was pretty awesome. So, since I'm back, let's go with something very simple. I want to make things very simple. And speaking with simple. I'm going to be over-explaining very, very everyday tasks. Like as if I am talking to a little kid, but yeah, I'm gonna over-explain some simple tasks. So, I hope you enjoy this silly over-explaining topic of this video, and I hope you get to sleep. So, I hope you enjoy. So I'm gonna show you how to tear off a piece of paper. So that's very, very simple, right? I guess so. But tearing a piece of paper is something that requires precise hand skill. So if you want to tear a piece of paper, you first need a piece of paper in general. This is a piece of paper. It is already folded in half. It doesn't matter what state that piece of paper is. It doesn't matter if it's just blank. It doesn't matter if it's a old piece of paper or with material. As long as it's paper. Okay. And I hope you don't tear off some important documents, or else things aren't going to be very, very good if you do that. So make sure that piece of paper is something that you no longer need and something that's no longer important. Preferably a blank piece of paper. So this piece of paper is an A4 piece of paper, whatever letter size, not an A4, letter sized. This one is just an old resume that I got 2 years ago. I've been job searching for ages, still can't find anything. And here we go. So, the first thing you need to do to tear off a piece of paper is to think, where do you want to start tearing? It could be down in the middle. It could be over here. It could be over here. It could be over here. So, what I'm going to do to make things easier, I'm going to do some tearing from the middle. So over here, that's where I'm going to tear. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is, once you decide where you want to tear, you're going to have to take 2 of your fingers and pinch both fingers like that. Very, very, very good. And the next step you have to do is take your other hand, take 2 fingers, preferably your thumb and index finger, and pinch it again right next to, like that, right next to your other finger. Okay. And the next step is very, very crucial. And this is where the fun begins. So, in order to tear a piece of paper, you'll need to exert forces on that by bending this one forward and bending this other finger backward. So what you're going to do is, as you're holding it, bend that and forward, and now you have to pull. And as you do that, it acts force. It puts force on the paper and shears it ready See? You also have a problem here because the paper doesn't tear very well. And this is where you'll need to adjust the positioning of your fingers, just like that. And at this point, you no longer need your fingers. You could just grab the piece of paper each side with two hands, and you could just tear away. This method is best if you don't care on how badly teared it is. And so there you have it. You've successfully teared a piece of paper in half. So that's one everyday task. It's very useful if you no longer need a piece of paper, if you want to recycle, like something that you don't really need, or just better off, make some sounds, which I love to do. So the next task that I'm going to show you is very simple. This is a straw, and if you really feel thirsty, I hope you feel thirsty at some point, because everybody needs water. It's summertime. It's hot. We need to hydrate ourselves. So, this is a straw, a paper straw, and you use it to drink, so to sip at water or any drink. But the problem is that it is wrapped in paper. It's wrapped in paper. So, you really need to peel it off. I'm going to show you. I am going to show you how to peel it off step by step. So here's what you're going to do. You have to examine the straw. You see how this end feels has a bit of space, like there's not part of the straw here. Okay. This is the part where you have to tear. So I'm going to show you how to tear. It's very similar to how to tear a piece of paper in half. So you have to take your finger like this, like part of your hand. It doesn't matter how many fingers you put, and you take your other hand and grab the straw itself that's wrapped. And the next thing you gotta do is to just rip it apart. Like you gotta pull back, so to exert force on the paper, and then it's going to rip. It's gonna be easy, so just look. See? You have to pull like that, and once you hear the ripping sound, you are on the right track. So the straw is wrapped, right? The straw is still wrapped. But there is now an opening because this part is ripped. And it gets really hard at some time to get this straw out of the paper. But now, since it's ripped, the next thing you gotta do is to try and find a way to pull the straw out. So I developed a technique, and this technique is pants down, the pants down technique. So what it does is, this technique, the pants down technique, is you have to pull the paper down just like you would pull your pants down, okay? And imagine this paper as a pair of pants. It's just one, like the paper is literally your pants. And what you gotta do is to pull it down. So, ready? This is how it works. You take the open end of the straw, which is like the same thing as where the opening of your pants, and you have to pull it down. So ready? Like that, like so. You pull it down just like you would pull your pants down. And the last thing you gotta do is, you see that part here? You have to pull that part. There you go. Just like when you pull your pants down, sometimes your foot gets snagged inside the pants or jeans. And you have to just pull the end to get your pair of pants out of your legs. And so, once you've fully taken the paper out, you have managed to successfully unravel and unwrap the straw. Okay. So what? You can now use it to drink. Don't worry, if the straw is wrapped in paper, I have now taught you. Yay. Okay. So, we're gonna use this straw later on, so this will come back later in the video. So, sometimes you may feel the need to hear music, but you do not want others to hear that music. You want to just hear it just by you. You just want to hear it by yourself. Everybody else, but you won't hear it. So, I got something. It's called headphones or earphones. So, I'm going to now show you how to wear a pair of earbuds. So, this one has a wire. So this wire is where you'll have to connect to a computer or your phone through this through this jack, okay? And I'm not going to cover that. Someone else could do it because I can't show you. I'm using my phone. So, I'm going to show you how to pull on a pair of earphones. So, the first thing you gotta do is to take a pair of earphones, and this is a very, very crucial step, because if you miss the step, the way you hear your sound would not be as perfect, because I'll show you why. So if you examine here, you'll see either an L or a R. I'm gonna find it here. Okay, this one is left, so you can't really see it, but I can see it. There should be an L or an R. In this case, it's very faded. I've used this pair of earphones for a long time. So it's faded. Okay. Here. This is right. My camera can't pick it up, but you will see an L or an R on the earbud. You know what that means? That means that L means left and R means right. So, what that means is that the one that's marked with an L, that is your left earbud. You have to put it in your left ear. In this case, this one. put it in your left ear. Now look for the other one. Make sure it is labeled the opposite ear. So in this case, as I put it on my left ear, this one is right, so I'm going to put it on my right ear. There you go. And once you put the pair, now all you gotta do is to play sound. So once it's plugged in your ear, play the sound. Make sure the volume is not turned too up, or else it will blast sound on a sudden, and you do not want that. So to verify that you have placed your earbuds at the right places, just take off your right ear, and check the letter. And if it's marked R, that means you're good. Another way to check is that the earbud doesn't really fit. You'll feel that the earbud isn't fitting. And if it doesn't really feel like it's fitting, that means that you put the earbud in the wrong ear. Alright, so now I'm very, very thirsty, and which means that I am gonna drink water. The room is very hot. I can't turn on my AC because I have to record without my AC. So I'm going to show you the next step. And the next step is very, very, very easy. But if you screw up, you might find yourself wet. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to drink a glass of water. And how to drink it requires a bit of steps. So the first thing you'll need is a glass. Admire the shape. Doesn't matter the material, as long as it is a cup that holds water. So as you examine the glass, you can imagine how it distorts your face as you look through it. You could feel the texture of the glass. You can imagine it. And this glass is pretty heavy. I don't know how much it weighs exactly, but it should weigh a couple 100 grams. Let's say 200. Very, 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 very rough estimate. And the first thing you'll need to do once you have your glass is to fill it up with water. You'll need a good and trustworthy water source. For me, I'd love to get bottled water. And once you find a source of water, the next thing you gotta do is to unscrew the water. Unscrew the cap. Since I'm taking this water out from a bottle, if you're using tap water, go to the tap and fill it, but make sure your water is safe. In the sake of this video, I'm going to use a bottle, and if you're using a bottle, you gotta unscrew the cap. And to do this, it's very, very easy, but you'll have to do it and prevent it from spilling. So what you gotta do is to take your hand, make a little circle, or grab it or something. So take it and put the cap in between your thumb and index finger and hold it like this. Then what you gotta do is that you gotta twist it counterclockwise so that the cap comes off. Be very careful, because if you do it too fast, the lid might fly off. You do not want that. once the bottle is open, then you're ready for the next step. This step is very, very important because it requires you to be safe. So the next thing you're gonna do is to pour the contents in the bottle onto the glass, into the glass, into the glass, into the glass, and it requires you to not be wet. So I'm gonna show you how to do it. So what you have to do is to put the bottle like this over the glass, because if you do it like this, it's gonna spill out of the cup, and you do not want that. So you have to do it like this, put it over, and slowly pour. Let it pour ever so slightly. I'm very thirsty, and this is the perfect time to show it to you. Okay, now you have a glass that's halfway full, or at least in this example. So as you fill up the cup, be very, very careful, because if you fill it up too full, you'll risk overflowing the cup and being wet. You're going to end up being wet, so you don't want to cause a spill. Alright. And the next step is the best one, because you will get to taste the water. Yay! So the next step and the last step is to put it over your mouth. Open your mouth a bit, like that, and put it over the mouth of the water, of the glass. And then lift the glass so the water comes into the mouth, into your mouth. Ready? Open. Glass in. And then you take a sip. That is how you drink a glass of water. I'm going to show it to you again. Mouth open. Glass. The mouth of your glass goes into your mouth. Okay. And move your cup upwards. One more time. Mouth open. Glass in your mouth. And lift. And there we go. But before we end off this session of me over-explaining stuff, I'm gonna show you another technique. This technique is one of my favorite old school techniques. Let's fill this up again. And this is where the straw comes in. And you could also use a straw to drink. You don't even need to use your mouth like this. You don't even need to use. So I'm going to use a straw. So if you want to use a straw to sip and drink a glass of water, then I'll show you. First, you take the straw. Then you put it inside the glass. The straw, on the other hand, must be submerged inside the water. In other words, it must be underwater inside the cup, as you can see here. Then what you gotta do is to put the other hand that's opposite to the water inside your mouth like this. And make sure you close your mouth like this, so the suction process, it does not mess up the water coming up. So you put your mouth inside the other end and you breathe in. You'll feel the water come into your mouth because it kind of pulls water upward from the straw and enters your mouth that way. One more time, mouth onto the straw and breathe in like that, mouth closed. And there you have it. So, a few caveats. Don't drink too fast, or else you might choke on water, which won't be a great thing. So, I hope you do enjoy this video. This is me going very simple and over-explaining simple tasks, ASMR. So I hope this video makes you sleep and pays off your sleep credit card. Set your balance if you sleep dead to 0. So, give this video a like if this helped you get your tingles and feel the ASMR sensations, because that's what my channel is all about. ASMR-fied videos. So, I'm gonna go sleep now. I am getting pretty tired. My room is hot. I'm gonna have to turn on my AC, so I'll see you next time, and peace out.